This is Belle, and today I'm reviewing See How They Run by Ali Carter. This is the second book in her Embassy Row series, following All Fall Down, which if you have not read, I'll link in the description to where I reviewed that on my blog previously. I suggest you go check that out before watching this video, since there will be spoilers from the first book in this review, but no spoilers for See How They Run, the second book. I would show you a physical copy of the book, but Barnes & Noble apparently had a huge miscommunication, didn't realize that the book was coming out today, so I was at the store at 8 o'clock for no reason and ended up having to buy it as an ebook instead, but great book. So basically, as a refresher, or if you did choose to watch this without reading the first book, Grace is an half American girl living at the embassy in fictional Adria, and in this book she's coping with the reality that she killed her mother accidentally, but that she's the one who killed her mother. And a lot of the plot revolves around the fact that her brother Jamie comes to visit and brings a friend with him, and things get much more complicated. I'm not going to go any further into the plot because I want that to be a surprise for you, but I will delve into a couple of the interesting things that I find about this book. First, Carter has taken on a really fascinating topic to me. The whole idea of the guilt surrounding killing your own mother is just unfathomable. And frankly, Grace is, well, this is what's odd, is that everyone in Grace's family and the people around her think that she's crazy. But Carter writes her as not really being crazy. Most of her hunches or her suspicions or her conspiracies actually end up being true. So she's sort of writing her as a crazy girl, but then simultaneously undercutting that. I have mixed feelings because I think that she would be a much more interesting character if she actually were crazy. So in the first book, she was much more crazy because she didn't remember killing her mother. She'd built up this whole conspiracy around it, and she was hunting the person she thought did kill her mother. And so she actually was definitely dealing with kind of an altered mental state there. But in the second book, she isn't. Granted, she's panicky a lot, she's scared a lot, she can't control her emotions a lot, she has flashbacks and weird dreams and weird voices in her head, but she's not really crazy as far as I can tell. I think what's interesting is that Carter has written an almost unlikable character. Because of her emotional swings, because of her self-hatred, Grace is really unstable. She's very weak. So very unlike a lot of the really strong female characters we've been seeing in young adult literature recently, and I find her fascinating for that reason. I think that Carter could delve a lot deeper into that aspect of Grace's personality, but the books have ended up a little more plot-focused. That seems to be her style. It's fine, not my preference, but it works for her. And the plot to this book is just very rapid fire. It's very convoluted. It keeps changing, ends with a bang. A lot of people I saw on social media were just freaking out about the ending and how it's a cliffhanger. And I don't think there's anything to freak out about, honestly. It is a very abrupt ending, but I think that's appropriate for what Carter's doing. So it's an abrupt ending following a very significant piece of news, and I think that stopping the book there and then making her readers wait for the third book allows that reality to sink in, allows the news to sink in, instead of the reader just accepting it and moving on. It makes it more significant. So I'm a very fast reader. Often things that are supposed to be surprising or shocking or really change the story of the book don't affect me very much just because I read through them so quickly. And so by stopping the book where she did, Carter has completely eliminated that problem. So I think it was a good move. I am interested to see the next one, but it's not life or death situation cliffhanger, so I'm not as frustrated about it as some people on social media were. I will say this book, despite the whole discussion of murder and the whole guilt and craziness thing, this really is a teenager's book. It's plot, it's adventure and intrigue and romance, but in the end, it comes down to feeling a little simplistic as far as dealing with deep topics or dealing with emotions. There are a couple of reasons I think for that. It's relatively short. It was only 200 some odd pages on my Nook, and it's written first person point of view, so it's all in Grace's head. And I just think it doesn't delve into issues as much as it could. It's basically plot and some of Grace's feelings. So there's nothing against that. That's the audience that Carter is writing for. I'm realizing that I'm slightly removed from that audience. I fell in love with her Gallagher Girls series years ago as a much, much younger teenager, and I think I'm starting to grow out of that. I still enjoy her books. I still enjoy her writing. I think that for the audience she's writing to, it's perfect. But I don't necessarily think that this is a book or a series that's going to interest a lot of adults. And I'm a little bit sad about that because I hate to outgrow an author, but the fact is that people change. And what is going to appeal in general to a 13 or 15-year-old teenage girl shouldn't necessarily appeal to me as a 22-year-old. There can be differences. So I think it's a good book. I think that Carter she's definitely upped her game, even from Gallagher Girls, as far as dealing with difficult topics, as far as putting her character through something that's hard and letting her not be strong. I appreciate that. Young adult literature right now is full of strong female characters, especially in the fantasy or dystopian genres. And what I enjoyed, for instance, Hunger Games. So what I enjoyed almost most about that series is in Mockingjay, where you get places that Katniss is just falling apart. She's in a closet breaking pencils, she's screaming, she's out of control. She can't cope with her emotions and what's going on and what she's done. And that felt very real to me. I appreciated that. And I think that Ally Carter has done a great job dealing with that reality and not making her character someone who can do everything and deal with everything. I wish she would delve even deeper into that, into some of Grace's guilt and pain, and I wish that she would stop making Grace's world so unstable. There's no one, frankly, in Grace's life that she can trust to tell her the truth. And that is that's potentially real, I suppose, in a real life that could happen, but it feels unnatural. I'm seeing that a lot in TV shows right now, a little bit more in books, but especially in TV shows, this constant change, constant lying and backstabbing and two-timing, and I'm getting sick of it, frankly. Yes, it moves your plot along. Yes, it keeps people on their toes, but that constant state of emotional turmoil isn't necessary. So I kind of am hoping that Carter will delve deeper with the series, that she'll deal with Grace's emotions, that she'll develop some stronger relationships between the characters. But we'll see when the next book comes out. So in general, I think great read for a teenager, especially if you are ready like Carter, if you're into a little bit of intrigue, some international diplomacy, then this is a great book for you. I think that this is on par for Carter. I don't think that it's definitely not worse than her previous books. I think there are aspects in which she has definitely improved. I'm sad that I'm growing out of her style and her age range a little bit, I think, and that that tempered my enjoyment of the book, but it probably won't for you. So absolutely go read it if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. And let me know in the comments what you are reading right now or what you think I should be reading. I would love to talk about it. If you have read All Fall Down or See How They Run, I'd love to hear your thoughts about that in the comments as well. And that's it.